Hi, my name is Greg Graham. I'm coming at you tonight from my living room in Louisville, Kentucky. I'm a PGA professional. I want to talk to you a little bit tonight about a certain method that might help some of you with your golf game. Again, this is an absolute complete method. I'm not a method teacher. I certainly do not teach all of my students to swing this way. But some of you that have struggled with paralysis by analysis, all the things you think you need to do in your golf swing, this particular method might help you. It might simplify things. Okay, this method's called face plane uncocking. Okay, has 3 parts to it. It's a very, very simple idea. Okay, and the first part I want to talk about tonight is the club face. Okay, in this particular method, which again, I don't teach everybody to swing this way. Okay, but this method can certainly help even the really good player. Okay, the first part of face plane uncocking is the club face. Okay, in this method, this particular method only, when you take the club away from the ball, you want to keep the club face facing the ball as long as you can. Okay? At the halfway back position, you kind of want it turned down, or what we would call slightly shut face. Not extremely closed, but just slightly shut face, not in the standard toe-up position, just a little bit more closed face. Okay? That's the first part. Keep the club face facing the ball. Okay? Much like you would chip. You know, we don't take the face and rotate it open a lot with a lot of closure. We keep the face kind of turned down, perpendicular to the plane, if you will. In other words, if you had a swing plane that was, you know, on a reasonable plane here, the face would kind of be 90 degrees to that plane. Okay? That's the idea with the face. Okay? The second part of this golf swing, this particular method, is when you turn your body and keep the face facing the ball, you take the end of the club and point it at the ball and stop right here. No bigger golf swing than this. Just stop with this reasonably pointed at the ball. Now, there's a swing plane there, and you see good players on a more vertical plane that produce a good path, and players that are on a flatter plane that still produce a good path. Okay, we're not going to get in that discussion for the purpose of this video. Okay, I am very aware that several different planes can produce good pass and good impact into the ball. Okay, but for the purpose of this video, and keeping things simple for some of you out there, we're just going to take the end of the club and point it at the ball with the face closed. Okay? So we've covered the 2 parts so far. We've covered the face being turned down. We've covered the backswing to where you turn your body, point the end of the club at the ball, and stop here, not all the way back. Just point it at the ball. Look like this from the side. This is pointed down at the ball. It's not more vertical than that, pointed at your feet. It's not over here somewhere. It's just pointed at the ball. It's hinged with your wrist and pointed at the golf ball with the face closed. Okay? So you got 2 parts there. You got the face and you've got the plane. Okay? And that plane will be pointed at the ball. Okay? Now, the last part of this is what I like to call the most important part, which is this. The majority of the club head speed in golf comes from the wrist. Okay? This type of wrist action, just an unhinging action, much like you would fish, but obviously in golf, down. Okay? When you hinge your wrist and you stop at this point in the swing, you have nothing left to hit that golf ball with but an unhinge. When you hinge your wrist, because of the way we're built, your right arm folds, your wrist hinge, and when you unhinge, your right arm straightens and your wrist unhinged. This action, done from just this position, with your arms and hands unhinging, will produce what I like to call just an acceptable path into the ball. Slightly from the inside. You're not throwing your shoulders at the ball. You're not throwing your hips at the ball. You're just taking the club, keeping it closed, hinging it, pointing at the ball, and literally unhinging. Now, the majority of the club head speed comes from the unhinging of the wrist. If you took a stick like this alignment 8 I have here, and you just swung it, you can hear the sound, and I'm not using an excessive amount of body. I'm using my arms and my wrist to make that swoosh sound, okay? If I just use body without any uncocking or unhinging of the club, you don't hear anything, okay? So what this does is it gets you out of some of the body movements that would throw this club off a good path into the ball, okay? We know from TrackMan that the club face at impact is going to dictate as much as 75% of the initial start out direction of the shot, okay? So the idea here is if you don't open the face, then we hit golf shots that start out straight. The second idea is if we hinge the club pointed at the ball and stop right here, we are already in a position to produce a pretty good slightly inside to inside path through the ball, okay? And then the third part is if we just think about unhinging the golf club, that club stays on that path, that slightly inside path coming into the ball. It stays on the same plane that you took the club back on in the first place, which was this pointing at the ball. Absolutely only a method. You certainly do not have to swing this way. I've seen very, 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 very good players who do use these three parts as the basis for their golf swing. Like I said before, some of you that really struggle, this will really help simplify things. But it has three parts. Club face, stays closed going back, end of the club points at the ball, and you unhinge. That's it. What you do with your body after, totally up to you, okay? I hope this helps. Again, it's just a method. I do not teach all my students to swing this way, but for people that have really struggled with golf, I think face, playing, uncocking could help. Thank you.